Our question to Mission Kaali is, why are you worried so much reading those lies spread by atheists? Let us speak of India and do fact check. Can you show single evidence of spreading Christianity in India with the help of crusade? In fact, we show hundreds of evidences of spreading Hinduism with crusade. Till Adi Shankaracharya, there is no Hinduism, and for this claim, your scriptures itself is enough. To be honest, Christian religion spread because of the martyrs. The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church.
Namaskar. Welcome to Gnanis World.
In this video, we are going to discuss another tweet from hate-monger Hindu the fanatic Twitter handle Mission Kaali. Here is the tweet for your reference. Mission Kaali tweeted this tweet with this caption: "Many brutal wars and genocides happen because of the so-called religion of love. Nobody can deny it, just saying." And the quote in the shared image is of David G. McAfee, who is an American atheist. Mission Kaali spreading all these lies to protect Hindu Dharma means itself following a religion and taking the quote of atheists to spread hate on Christianity and to blind people to stay in Hindu religion. I leave this to their conscience, as they are doing not for Dharma but for their livelihood. Dear viewers of Gnanis World, as per the tweet, 4 things need to be clarified here. Number 1, about Crusades. Number 2, about the Ku Klux Klan group. Number 3, about Hitler religion. And number 4, Imperial colonization of America. In this video, let us see the first point. Did really Christians did crusades to spread religion? To know the facts, let us hear from Dr. Bill Warner, who is an American writer, critic of Islam, and the founder of Center for the Study of Political Islam. Dear viewers of Gnanis World, you watch the video and decide.
Whenever you're dealing with an apologist for Islam, or even a Muslim, and you bring up jihad, almost immediately they kick back to you, well, what about those terrible crusades? Why, they're the moral justification for jihad. I mean, we're just as bad as they are, so let's not talk about jihad, okay? Let's talk about the crusades. Well, what I would like to talk about here are facts. And it turns out I sat down and put together some work, and I created a database of some 548 battles that Islam fought, jihad battles against classical civilization. And these aren't even all the battles. It really doesn't say much about Africa and India, Afghanistan and all that. It's primarily the battles against the classical civilization of Rome and Greece. So, 548 battles is a lot, and it's too much to even comprehend. So I created something which I call a dynamic battle map, in which you have a display of the Mediterranean, and a white dot means that this 20-year period, that's a new battle. So every time the screen changes, it's 20-year period. The colors white turn to red, and so you can see a history. This may seem a little confusing, but I think when you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. And here it starts. Islam burst out of the Arabian Peninsula and immediately starts attacking the Middle East. And notice that it doesn't take long until they're crossing the Mediterranean and attacking southern France and Spain. Notice something here. Most people think of Islam, they think of Arabs, they think of desert, and yet here we see that Islam is projecting power throughout the Mediterranean. Notice how the little islands of the Mediterranean are getting hammered. The navy of Islam would attack coastal towns, kill, rob, rape, and then take slaves. So this whole battle map, as it unfolds, you're seeing slaves being taken. Over 1 million slaves were taken out of Europe into the Islamic world. That's something you don't think about much, but it's absolutely true. There were over 200 battles fought in Spain alone. And we also see, however, on the east coast in Turkey, that Islam is trying to break into Europe. Now, what's going to happen is, in Spain, this ongoing fight that lasted for 400 years, the Christians are going to push back the Muslims. But now then, what has happened over in the east is that Constantinople has fallen, and now then Eastern Europe is getting hammered. The jihad now comes to Eastern Europe. It's pushed out now of Spain, Northern Africa is now completely Islamic. The Middle East is completely Islamic. This is all jihad, relentless jihad. And why is it so relentless? Well, Muhammad was relentless in his jihad. And these people are good students of Islam, and so it's against the kafir, on and on. It was traditional that when the Sultan came to power, the brand new Sultan, he would immediately try to launch new wars because he was going to be noted in his Islamic history as to how well he fought against the kafir. So that's what the jihad looked like over that time period, 548 battles. But remember, when you bring up jihad, people want to bring up the Crusades. So I also prepared a dynamic battle map of all the offensive raids of the Crusaders. Let's watch it and make a comparison. And so it begins. The Crusades enter into Turkey and the Middle East. Battles go on, but aren't there far fewer than you thought there might be? And here we go. The last battles are fought, and that is the end of the Crusades. So now then we can talk about some facts. Yes, there were Crusades, but notice they ended centuries ago, and jihad is being practiced today. Jihad has been with us for 1400 years. There is no comparison between jihad and the Crusades, certainly not a moral comparison. And when you're looking at the Crusades, remember, in one sense, all of the Crusades were defensive wars. Why? Well, as we saw on the first jihad map, it was Islam that came out of Arabia and conquered the Middle East, a Christian Middle East. And so the Crusaders were trying to free their Christian brothers and sisters from jihad. So there's no moral comparison at all. The motivation of the Crusaders was to free Christians. The purpose of jihad is to enslave the kafir. So the next time you hear somebody talk about, oh, those dreadful Crusades, you've seen some facts about the matter. Why don't you pipe up and tell them you know, you don't really know the matter.
Dear viewers of Gnanis World, you watch the video and you decide. This video is part of Bill Wardner's astounding lecture. Why we are afraid, a 1400-year secret. The link of battle list given in description box. Now, it is clear and the people who are in delusion till now about Christian religion spread by Crusades can do further research to come out of the delusion and know the truth. To be honest, Christian religion spread because of the martyrs. The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. The growth can be attributed to the new faiths meeting need across cultural barriers. It's giving general meaning to life for many. The overall transformation of those lives, the social concerns of Christians during the plagues for the sick and the poor, and the power of its doctrine. News of the resurrection of Christ produced great loyalty among followers. Christian martyrdom also ironically created vast interest in it, and respect for the Christians and increased their numbers. This is how Christianity spread. Our question to Mission Kaali is, why are you worried so much reading those lies spread by atheists? Let us speak of India and do fact check. Can you show single evidence of spreading Christianity in India with the help of crusade? In fact, we show hundreds of evidences of spreading Hinduism with crusade. Till Adi Shankaracharya, there is no Hinduism, and for this claim, your scriptures itself is enough. Here are the references from the scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:7-37. Thereupon the glorious God incarnated himself as Buddha, and with the view to bring about a confusion of their understanding and to create avarice in them, taught them many false religions in the guise of a Pashanda. One setting the true religious takes it not. Translated by J.M. Sanyal. Padma Purana 6:252, 108-115. The glorious one, taking up the form of Buddha, deluded his enemies. Those who were deluded by that teaching gave upon all religious practices. Translated by N.A. Deshpande. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:4-22. In his incarnation as Buddha, he shall bewilder by his arguments of ahimsa, non-injury. The Daityas performing sacrifices, though not entitled to the performance thereof. Then in the Kalyuga, incarnating himself as Kalki, he shall slay the Shudra kings. Translated by J.M. Sanyal. By these references, we can say before Adi Shankaracharya it was Buddhism all over India and is a false religion as per Hindu scriptures. And now, another god Shiva incarnated as Adi Shankaracharya to replace Buddhism by another false doctrine, Mayavada, which is the major sect of present Hinduism. According to Hindu scriptures and scholars, Shiva incarnated on earth, and he too established a false philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, just to stop another false philosophy called Buddhism. Hindu scholars considering Adi Shankaracharya to be an incarnation of Shiva, as Adi Shankaracharya had successfully stopped Buddhism and even persecuted Buddhists and Jains and established objectionable philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, for which he was sometimes considered crypto-Buddhist by some Hindu scholars. It's mentioned in Padma Purana wherein Shiva says, Padma Purana 6:236-7, O goddess, in the age of Kaali, I will appear in the form of Brahmana to preach the false doctrine of Mayavada, which is simply covered Buddhism. Padma Purana 6:236-11. This powerful doctrine of Mayavada resembles the Vedas, but is by nature non-Vedic. O goddess, I propagate this philosophy in order to destroy the world. Swami B.V. Giri writes in Padma Purana 6:236-7. Indisputably, the Brahmana mentioned in the verse is none other than the great Indian philosopher of monastic Vedanta, Adi Shankara. And this Adi Shankara given call for genocides of Buddhist monks, and we have scriptural, historical and archaeological evidence for this. The antics of Adi Shankara in the 8th century, assuming he was born in 788 and died in 820 CE, are well known and part of the history. Shankara postulated the Vedas as authority, and hence he was ranked as a Sanatani. Later on, the priestly class appropriated this, and Max Muller called it Hinduism. Thus, Hinduism dates back to the 8th century.
In Shankara Digvijaya, Madhavacharya writes that Devas went to Shiva and complained about prevalence of Buddhists and Kapalikas and requests him to re-establish Vedic religion. Shiva accepts their request and tells them that he will incarnate as Adi Shankaracharya. His son will incarnate as Kumarila Bhatta, and Indra will incarnate as King Sudhanva. Kumarila Bhatta, with the help of King Sudhanva, has persecuted Jains and Buddhists. Shankara Digvijaya 1:27-56 by Madhavacharya, translated by Swami Tapasyanand. Kumarila instigated King Sudhavanan of Ujjaini to exterminate the Buddhists. From the Mirchakatika of Sudraka, we learn that the king's brother-in-law in Ujjain persecuted the Buddhist monks. They were treated as bullets by passing a string through their noses and yoking them to carts. The Keralopati documents refer to the extermination of Buddhism from Kerala by Kumarila. About the activities of Shankara, Swami Vivekananda wrote like this: And such was the heart of Shankara that he burned to death lots of Buddhist monks by defeating them in the argument. What can you call such an action on Shankara's part except fanaticism? Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 7, page 118, Calcutta, 1997. The 15th sarga of his biography, Madhava Vidyaranya, Shankara Digvijaya, refers to his campaigns against the Buddhists, being escorted by King Sudhavanan's army wherever he went from the Himalayas to Indian Ocean. Owing to his anti-Buddhist activities, Buddhism fell on its evil days.
The royal persecution of Buddhists by some Brahmanic rulers was the most potent factor which contributed to bring the decline of Buddhism in India. The Buddha stone inscription of Laknapal refers to one Varma Siva, a Saiva ascetic, who destroyed an idol of Buddha in the south, Dakshinapath, before his arrival in Vadomayutha. Epigraphica Indica, Volume 1, page 63.
A Chalukya inscription of 1184 AD refers to a feudatory chief, Mahamandaleshwara Viruparasadeva, who is described as a forest fire to the Jain religion, a destroyer of Buddha religion, a demolition of Jain Basidis, an establisher of the Shivalinga Simhasana, that is Shivalinga throne. He destroyed several samayas at Pariyalage. Anilevada, that is Anhilwar, Unukallu, that is Unkal, Sampagadi, Sampagon, Ibbaluru, that is Ablur, Marudigi, that is Maradigi, Anampur, that is Alampur, Katahada, that is Karat, Kembavi, Bammakuru, and other places. Annual Report of the Archaeological Survey of India 1929 to 1930, page number 171. We know from the record of the Nalanda inscription of Vipula Srimitra that a Vangala army killed a Buddhist monk named Karunasmriti of Somapura and burned down his house, which was actually a monastery. Epigraphica Indica, volume 21, page number 97. Another furious Hindu king who showed his great hostility towards Buddhism was Shashanka, the king of Gauda. He was a notable example of anti-Buddhist Brahmanical fanaticism. He is said to have uprooted the sacred Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya, but in order to destroy it totally, he burnt its remains. A Buddha image from a temple east of the Bodhi tree was removed by him, and in its place he installed an image of Shiva. On Yuan Chang's Travels in India, Volume 2 by Thomas Waters, 1905, pages 115 and 116. At Nagarjunakonda, the Adi Shankara played a demon's role in destroying the Buddhist statues and monuments. Longhurst, who conducted excavations at Nagarjunakonda, has recorded this in his book Memoirs of the Archaeological Survey of India, number 54. The Buddhist Antiquities of Nagarjunakonda, Delhi, 1938, page 6. Non-Brahmins burnt alive. The ruthless manner in which all the buildings at Nagarjunakonda were destroyed is simply appalling and cannot represent the work of treasure seekers, because many of the pillars, statues and sculptures have been wantonly smashed to pieces. Local tradition relates that the Brahmin teacher Shankaracharya came to Nagarjunakonda with a host of followers and destroyed the Buddhist monuments. The cultivated lands on which the ruined buildings stand was a religious grant made to Shankaracharya. This shows that the Adi Shankaracharya and Brahmins were hand in glove in the slaughter of Buddhists and the destruction of the Buddhist establishments. This is what really happened in India, the land of the Buddha. But our so-called eminent historians are bent upon hiding the cruelty inflicted on the Buddhists in India. These historians have succeeded in creating an impression that India is a land of non-violence and tolerance. The entire world has been duped by them. Like this, we can present irrefutable evidence of the genocide of Buddhists in India. Now, our question to hate-monger Mission Kaali is where and when Christians did like this to spread Christianity in India.
Dear viewers of Gnanis World, this is what reality is. But this Hindutva fanatics, instead of accepting and apologizing, they started false propaganda to whitewash the atrocities done by their ancestors. Here is an example from Sangam Talk's Twitter handle for your understanding. These pseudo-historians want to spread communal hate with these kind of memes. As a Christian, we challenge Sangam Talks to come forward and have dialogue exchange to see who actually persecuted in India: Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Jains or Hindus.
Let us see about the Klux Klan group in the next video. Kindly subscribe to the channel and press bell icon for further updates. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.